Congratulations, we're under contract on your new home. In this video, I'm going to break down for you the entire home buying process, the next steps, so that you can feel confident moving forward. First, you'll be getting the email, "You're under contract, now what?" from me. This is going to include the next steps and all the timeline of events in the transaction. So be on the lookout for that email. At this point, one of my jobs is to communicate with all the parties. You, the buyer, the listing agent, title company, inspectors, the appraiser. There's a lot of people that come into the transaction. So I will coordinate, communicate, and schedule with everyone, as well as handle all the paperwork. I'm also going to be emailing you throughout the entire process. If you prefer to communicate in another way, please just let me know so I can accommodate you. I'm happy to text you, call you, just let me know if you have a preferred way. Otherwise, you can expect communications via email throughout the entire process over the next 30 to 45 days. So make sure that you're checking your emails and responding in a timely manner. Next, in the "You're under contract, now what" email, I'm going to be letting you know when the earnest money deposit is due. Now, for your reference, on the first page of the contract, line 7, it's listed how much the earnest money deposit is, and just below that when it's due. Now, I know we already discussed this when we were putting the offer together, but it's nice to have something to reference back to. It's also going to be in this email as well. In the email, you'll also find where you need to deposit your earnest money. Hint, it's with the title company. I'll have their contact information and mailing address in the email. This is also where the signing will take place for closing. So within X amount of days, you're going to want to turn in the earnest money deposit. Typically, it's going to be 3 days after mutual acceptance. I will let you know. For the earnest money deposit, you can wire it to the title company, drop off a check, or mail it. If you decide to wire the funds, you're going to need to reach out to the title company and confirm their wiring instructions. Then, from my experience, you're going to need to go into the bank branch to actually wire the funds. All these options work. Just let me know which one is the easiest for you. The next item to be completed is scheduling the home inspection, and this should really be done as soon as we're under contract. You can feel free to call an inspector that you've used before or have a relationship with, or I can email you a list of my 3 preferred partners. These are inspectors I have a relationship with and work with on a regular basis. I've even used some of them for my own personal home purchases. Just let me know who you'd like to use and I can get it scheduled for you. I'll need to communicate with you, the inspector, and the listing agent to work out a time that works for everybody. So again, let me know what company you want to use as quickly as possible and I can get that scheduled for you. Now, an average home inspection typically takes about 3 hours. It really depends on the size of the house, the age, the condition, as well as if an inspector shows up alone or if he has a partner working with him for the day. So there's a range, but typically it's about 3 hours. Likely, you're going to be doing a standard home inspection, but there are some additional inspections that you might want to consider. For example, you may want to request a pest inspection if something comes up during the original inspection. Other inspections that might apply are septic and well. The seller is responsible for getting the septic inspection done. We can request to be notified when that's happening if you want to attend. Sometimes it's nice to learn a little about the system from the septic inspector. All right, so here is what the home inspection process looks like. Let's dive in a little bit deeper. Like I already mentioned earlier, the average home inspection lasts about 3 hours. The home inspector is not there to show you around and tell you about each item they're checking. They're there to inspect every nook and cranny of the home, the roof, and under the house. They will draft up a very detailed report of the home showing pictures and explanations of each concern found. They will also let us know if this is a health and safety issue, an issue really that should be fixed, but there isn't really a safety issue, or just pointing out something that should be fixed, but it doesn't really need attention right away. It will be a very detailed report. Now, you're welcome to be at the inspection the entire time. What I like to suggest is coming towards the end, and the inspector will do a wrap-up with you. It's a great opportunity to be in the house with the inspector and asking any questions that you have. We will have the inspector's contact information, so if any questions come up after the fact, we can most definitely reach out to them and get some answers. Typically, we'll get back the home inspection report later that same afternoon. Usually, it's pretty quick. I also wanted to mention during the home inspection is a great time to invite any family or friends you would like to show the home to, or a great time to get measurements you want. We won't be back in the home again until the final walkthrough. At this point, we can review the home inspection. The report can be quite long and feel overwhelming. Remember, a lot of pages doesn't mean there's a lot wrong with the house. Most inspectors include a lot of photos and details about the areas they're commenting on. Once we get the reports, I'll review it and prepare a draft repair request of items that are customarily asked for. Once this is done, we can review it together and you can let me know what is most important for you and decide on that final inspection response. So how does this work? Let's say we want to ask the sellers for some repairs. We're going to send over the inspection response with these items we would like the seller to fix listed. The seller has 3 options on how they'd like to respond to us. The first option is they can say yes and agree to fixing all the repair items on the list. They will get quotes, hire a licensed professional to come out and make the repair, and provide receipts showing proof of performance and that it was paid for. And then you, as the buyer, have the opportunity to hire the home inspector to come back out at an additional fee and make sure that those items have been done and that they've been done correctly. This is the first option. The second option is the seller says, no, we don't want to mess with repairs. We aren't going to hire someone to come and make repairs, but we will credit you money. The money will be applied towards your closing costs or down payment. It will be a credit for you as a buyer so that you can take care of these inspection items after closing. This is one of my favorite options. If you're getting credited money, there's no need to worry about if the repair was done correctly, and you can hire your favorite contractor to get the job done. That's the second option. The third option is that the seller says, no, we don't want to make any repairs, and no, we aren't going to credit you any money towards closing. You can take the property as is. At this point, you have the option to move forward, or you can back out and get your earnest money deposit back. It's your decision whether or not you want to move forward. Within the first 5 days of going under contract, you want to make sure you complete the loan application with your lender. The lender is going to be communicating with you throughout the entire process up until closing. So make sure you're returning their calls, texts, or emails and answering any questions they might have, or getting additional information that they're requesting to them in a timely manner. It's very, very important. Moving forward, you can be looking into homeowners insurance at this time and getting some quotes on the home. If you need some recommendations, I'd be happy to send some over to you. A quick tip about this: if you go to the same insurance company that you already get your auto or other insurance from, they'll often give you a multiple account discounts. The next item that I wanted to discuss is the appraisal. So let me explain how this process works. The lender will be reaching out to you, typically for a payment, although some lenders will wrap this into closing costs. But this payment is for the appraiser to go out to the property and assess the value of the home. To let us know what we agreed to purchase the property for on the contract is what the property is worth. Because at the end of the day, as a buyer, you can only get a loan approval up to the appraised value of the home. So the appraiser is going to go up to the property. They'll look at comparable properties in the area. They're going to take into account any upgrades the home has and evaluate the condition of the home, and then they're going to give their opinion of value. They will send over a report to the lender with the value they think the home is worth. After this process has been completed, we're usually about 10 days to 2 weeks out from closing. There is so much that happens when you first go under contract, but then those last couple of weeks you could focus more on getting ready for your move, because there's not going to be a lot going on for you to do. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with the lender and the title company, but at this time you're probably just waiting to make sure the repairs are done. And those will be checked on during the final walkthrough, which happens about 3 days before closing. Once the appraisal is turned into the lender, your loan goes into underwriting for us to get our final loan approval. Once we hear the words clear to close, that means we are good for this loan. The lender and the title company are getting all the documents drafted up for closing, and we can schedule your final walkthrough, attend signing, and then I'll be handing over the keys so you can enjoy your new home. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am here to make this process as stress-free and seamless as possible. That is my goal anyways. I look forward to getting you to closing.